as well. As you would expect, the Bone Crew has their King Skull. If it wasn't Aussie Bozzy herself. Aussie Bozzy, how you doing?
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
All right.
If anyone hasn't realised, I found a soundboard, so get ready.
Get ready to boogie. All right. So I've done my So welcome to the Bone Crew. The Graveyard Shift. Sorry. What I've realized, I've been watching streams. You've always got to do an intro. You've got to tell what the value proposition is. So today, we've got Aussie Bozzy here, a relative novice to the world of avant-garde video games, mixed reality.
What's avant-garde mean?
Not sure. No one's ever asked me. I think like arty. Different than normal.
Out of the box.
Out of the box, a bit wacky. And also leftist socialist propaganda. So just trying to give her a little bit of an exposure to all three. Though we do not have our comrade today, so it's mostly going to be mainstream media. Bozo, what's your week been like? What have you been watching?
Survivor final. It was huge. So for those that don't watch Survivor, it's been running for 20 years. And as of yesterday, season 40 concluded. Winners at war. So everyone on that season was a winner of a previous season. And for me personally, it was the person who I wanted to win won. And it was such a risk because Survivor can quickly turn into a dud season. And I was so worried Winners at War would be a dud season. But, God, it was magic. And there was just so many points. For example, I really want to say the highlight of the whole final for me was a lot of the female characters highlighting the gender bias that can happen with Survivor. And Jeff, like Gowdy, you've watched a lot of previous seasons because I got Chloe onto it and you watched with Chloe.
Oh yeah. Jeff does not have much respect for the ladies.
Holy shit. So in the final, Jeff acknowledged that he was sexist in previous seasons and he apologized and he said that he's really aware of how he speaks now, even to the point where he acknowledged he often gave nicknames only to male characters. And who you've got up on the screen right now, Sarah, she turned around and she was just like, it's not fair men have a different title than men. And then Jeff turned around, he was like, you're so right, Sarah. And she's like, call me from my last name now. And then when he snuffed out her torch, I can't remember, I think it's Lazares.
Bozo.
He's like, Lazares, the tribe has spoken.
Where's the video? I thought this would be some video footage. Hang on, let's get that. Can we get that up on the big screen, please? A bit of a EW. So a bit of a.
Oh, the gender bias. Oh.
Look,
because I felt this the whole time I watched Survivor. Women, if they cutthroat, lie, jump, people are like, you're a bitch. But the guy celebrated for the way that they play.
Hang on, I don't want people
KFC.
to. KFC.
Yum.
Yuck. Oh, sorry. We reacted that went a different way.
It's alright.
I can speak from my own experience. Now you can hear it. Hang on, let me. Oh, this Windows. What are you trying to be helpful for? Get out of here. Go up the top.
It was just really moving to see, and it was a topic that I wanted to be raised on Survivor for 20 years. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it? That's okay. You'll be right. I'll tell you what's happening. They're clattering about. You can listen to me. Sheila.
No, it should be at a tribal. Why is it going to this?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Hang on, let's skip ahead. Is this just like, did I type sexy Survivor by accident? Who's this guy? Oh, Tony.
You just knocked out what was.
Oh, the origins.
Yep, that's the Jersey accent to put people to sleep.
I can't believe just Jersey.
It was very cool. It was very cool to see. And I love that the topic came up at the final episode of season 40. And I was really proud of the Survivor production team and the Survivor host and the Survivor contestants. Everyone was really like, they took ownership over how sexist Survivor has been in history. Anyway.
Do you remember that guy, Sexist Survivor? Do you remember that guy in like the early one that was like, women are fucking dumb? like in like the 90s
yes.
with that like blonde hair?
It was Tyson, and he was in the final season. But he
Really?
he had it out. No, wait, no, it wasn't Tyson. Tyson had it out for a woman, and she was like, she's really dumb. The guy, I don't know who he is.
Hey, babe.
I feel like let's not go into the vortex of it.
Survivor guy?
David, the Australian one?
No, the blonde guy that was like, women are fucking stupid.
Oh, Johnny Fairplay.
Johnny fucking Fairplay.
Johnny Fairplay.
And like, if you think about not just like where these kind of shows, like how they map the course of society. Well, like this is do they have? Where is Johnny Fairplay saying sexist shit? Is it not even? It's not even good enough. It's not even like news.
Okay, so when Johnny Fairplay was on, it was in the early 2000s, and I feel like the editors would have been rubbing their hands together and been like, "Oh yeah, you tell everyone there's a dumb girl alliance," because that's what he called it, a dumb bitch alliance. No, it was dumb bitch alliance. And even like there was a final where Jeff was like, "Let's talk about the sexiest Survivor castaways ever," and they did this like countdown of who the sexiest Survivor castmates were, and all of them were like women in bikinis. Not to mention even Jeff highlighting that, you know, he called only men nicknames. Like Jeff really took a step back in the final of season 40, winners versus winners, and the production team, and just took ownership over how shit he was. And that's one thing I've always despised about Jeff is his early sexism, and he doesn't do it in the later seasons, but for him to take ownership over what he did earlier, it was really, really good to see.
I think
I've got too many ads.
There we go. Let's transition back to your point. It's not about being perfect. I think most men grew up and were raised and born in a culture where like toxic masculinity was the like primary just mode of operating and doing things and being. And so it's not about having a perfect record, especially for people that like came up in the 2000s before that. It's like being able to show growth and being able to show and understand that you genuinely like. I obviously wasn't a sexist Survivor host for 20 years, but you know I grew up in a pretty, you know, toxic masculine city. You know, the way we spoke about women and things like that. It wasn't like I would be mortified now to hear anyone talk. I think anyone would just be like, you know, oh, you know, talking about how you sex and things like that. And you know, I'm just lucky to have spent my life with strong women like you and Chloe, and I'm so glad that the culture and the language has changed, because it's allowed me to understand the depth and breadth of like half of humanity better, and also some of the things that actually caused me a lot of pain that I didn't realize were causing me pain, because I thought that was like the way of operating. Do you know what I mean? That whole like male fragility and the whole idea that, you know, you've got to present a certain way and things like that. So it's good to see growth.
But like, it's not
you can
just
own up to it.
It's underlying in me, in television in particular. So I have a real problem in appreciating or being a fan of strong female television characters, and I'm really trying to break through that, because there's some great TV out there lately, and I personally really struggle to admire and respect a strong female television character, and in a male TV character, I'm like, I'm on, I've got you, you're amazing straight away. So it's been really interesting.
Well, why don't let's watch this clip, and then let's take your let's take some of your reactions. Let's just like unpack it once we get there, okay?
All right.
Husband left me. Woohoo! Okay.
Hang on. Okay, wait. I got to give you
hear
my
it.
audio. It's all right. It's coming. I know the hotkey. Don't worry. When you're in midstream and you're like, is this stream going well? You know, that's we're on our way to flow. Do you know what I mean? We just have to relax into it, baby.
Totally,
baby. Okay. They don't. Yeah, boy. Hang on. All right. Advanced sharing options. There's a way to do it. Wish James was here.
I got
That's what
this
we need James for.
soundboard. It's called a dank soundboard.
Noise! Turn down the what?
Oh, sorry. I'm entertaining the masses. Okay, here we go. What else have we got?
All right.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah, great cut there, Loz. I really appreciate it. You're keeping the people happy. Now we got that. All right, here we go.
Davo, can you give me a
So my life completely fell apart today. Did I mention that my husband left me? Woohoo! Okay. All right, but did I mention that he left me for his secretary? She's 21 and dumb as a Brillo pad. And I'm not naive. I know that men like stupid girls, right? But I thought Joel wanted more than stupid. I thought he wanted spontaneity and wit. I thought he wanted to be challenged. You know what I mean? You two are gonna be together forever. I'll tell you this much. I was a great wife. I was fun. I planned theme nights. I dressed in costumes. I gave him kids, a boy and a girl. And yes, our little girl is looking more and more like Winston Churchill every day, you know, with a big Yalta head, but that's not a reason to leave, right?
All right.
Okay.
46 seconds in. Tell me how you're feeling. What's going on in your head?
I've watched the first season of this show, and I really struggle with her as a character and her manager with the hat. And it's the
stars
same
of the show.
annoyances. Yeah, it's the same annoyances that I find with Kim on Better Call Saul. You know what it is? I feel like when it comes to women acting, I deep down have always wanted to be an actress. Anyway,
Okay.
I feel like I watch these people act, and these shows are incredible, and their acting is something I can see through, and it makes me think I can do it better. And so for these strong women characters, like there's another show called Succession, and there's it's about a family that's really rich, like ultra top 1% of 1% wealth. And there's Shav, and I feel the same way about her. I feel like it's not the character, it's not the show, it's the actress. And when I can like see faults or cues or habits in their acting, maybe deep down I'm like, I could do it better.
Sure. So you mentioned this idea that you think that maybe some of it comes from like internalized misogyny, I think is the term. Where did that come from? Like where do you think like existing gender roles come to play in that, or maybe not?
Why do I appreciate male characters so much better, but also easier? Like, my top characters are all male, and are men better actors? That's my first question to you. Like, are men better actors?
I think maybe men have more permission to relax and be confident in like that it's easier to be, you know, comfortable and confident and commanding, or it has been in the past. And I think that there is, I do think there is internalized misogyny when you see, you know, a woman stand up and be like powerful and command the respect and confidence that you would, you know, expect to see in like Brad Pitt or something like that. And there's still a little bit of friction for a lot of people that probably grew up with like, you know, I wouldn't say traditional values, but like just grew up in areas that are where those kind of gender roles are more established, which is a lot of the world. And, you know, there's that bit of friction. Like, you know, I grew up being like, oh, it's unfair. Girls get, you know, like special advantage programs, you know, they're doing better than boys now because of that, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, not realizing that I felt threatened by the girls that like did better than me and also deserved to be elevated on a pedestal, because there are these like entrenched, you know, disadvantages that are just baked into society.
Yeah, and exactly.
And I think that we all carry that a little bit. It sucks, but it's there.
And the clip you just showed, I felt
Sandoz,
myself getting annoyed. Is he joining? Is he ready?
Oh,
Dive
yeah.
deep.
Sandoz come in when it's hot.
We're talking about, here he comes, James.
Misogyny.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome,
talking
Jimbo.
about- We're talking about misogyny in television characters, because I, as a woman, judge female characters very harshly, and I'm trying to work out why. And we haven't got the game downloaded yet, so we're going deeper.
It's nearly downloaded. It's nearly downloaded. Internalized misogyny. Sando, do you have it?
Do I have it? Oh, I'm sure. You mean like? I mean, definitely. You know,
I have it. I think I have it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
think so.
totally. Like we all have that shit, I guess. Like, it's just kind of.
Well, there's that joke that like white women won Donald Trump the election. You know, like I think there's also an element. There's also an element of even if you are oppressed by the status quo, if essentially you're a beneficiary of it, you're probably subconsciously still likely to support it a little bit. So it's like, well, look, there's this system that has men on top, but I'm second from the top.
I'm up there as,
I'll stick to that.
I'll keep that position.
So
yeah, totally.
Sit down, lady.
I think it's.
Go on.
There you go, man. There you go.
No, so I was going to answer a question I was about to ask because I'm a terrible interviewer. How does it appear in your, like, you know, week to week, month to month life? I doubt it's daily for you. How does it manifest? How do you process it?
I don't think anyone can answer that. I feel like it's something that is like something you're not aware of, but you're constantly improving.
What about you, Sando? How do you process and how does your internalized misogyny appear and how do you process it?
Good question. I would say it probably would appear in ways in which, like, I probably wouldn't even notice. You know, I can't think of specific things, but you know, I reckon it would all the time. You know, it's kind of hard to get away from it. Just like probably like social things, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just kind of like, it's just one of those things where you live in a system and you can't help but adopt the thinking of the system to an extent. And it really is like a deprogramming thing to an extent. And even if you're like totally woke and like on like left Twitter 24/7, like there's just things that like, you can't be, you'd have to be like hyper aware of that stuff, you know, to not do it at all.
Like it's a pretty rare person who is not caught off guard by catching this. So James, this all came because Gowdy and I Gowdy, what's the name of that show?
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, so I watched the first season of that and I couldn't get into it. The same way that I didn't like Gilmore Girls, and the same way that I don't like any sort of female character that burdens me with their drama. Like the over processing dialogue, the ability to say something perfectly at any moment. It's like, no, you can't say that. No, that's not how it works. So from a woman's point of view, I do want to say there are plenty of television characters I love that are female. Carmela Soprano.
But would you
Helena
say that
from
you're more
Veep?
comfortable with them because they're more flawed, possibly? They're less,
actresses.
you know, better actors. Well, that's fair.
maybe.
It's okay to not like an actress.
But
You know,
why
that's-
don't I ever see a flaw in male acting? You know, it's always the
Yeah.
women.
Maybe you're just
I
too horny.
can't watch a show if there's a bad woman actress on it because I think I can do
Sure.
it better. I don't know. A topic for the therapist.
Yeah, totally.
Or for the
maybe,
entire internet.
Yeah, it's like it could be. I mean, I kind of like just that idea, like what you're saying. I kind of feel that when it's something that like I don't like personally connect with. So you know, if you know what I mean. So maybe it's like maybe the way the female characters act is just like you care more about that, you know, where it's like male characters you're like whatever, you know, like you let
James,
that
have you
slide.
watched Succession?
Yeah, totally, of course.
Shiv.
She's great.
Hate her.
You hate her.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I
Almost
hate them all, but
not
like
watching the show for her.
specifically her. Like, you mean like as in like she's like worse than
So
everybody
that
else?
actress, her name skips my mind right now. She's in The Beautiful Lie, which is an Australian series, and it's magnificent.
Oh yeah.
But she has these mannerisms as an actress that just I can't look past. but I'm sure there are
Right.
male characters that do it as well. But
Totally.
I feel like every time anyone talks to Shiv in that show, she goes, ready? She goes, oh. That's what she does. She does this
That's
sound
totally
in
it,
every line, and I can't handle it. But then I was talking to friends about it, and it's the same as Kim on Better Call Saul. Like, I really struggled to connect with Kim. I really struggled with the main characters in The Marvelous Mrs. And I'm like, what is it about the female characters that stops me from watching television?
Kim's awesome.
Maybe it is just that you're more critical because you are more like what James said, like you are more attentive to it, and maybe because you have a better understanding of the nuances of like female expression. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what sounds realistic if I'm describing a baby, my ugly baby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I guess we could ask ourselves, Sam, like, are we more critical of male characters? I definitely am.
Good one. Yeah?
I definitely am. I'm like, this guy's fucking horrible, you know? But then, like, Shiv comes in and I'm like, oh, she's pretty cool.
I don't think I'm critical of anything enough, to be honest.
Women.
I always like everyone's doing
women.
a great
it's
job.
Like, I love Liz Lemon. I love Leslie Knope. I love Carmela Soprano. There are many female characters I love. And I think it's when I can see flaws in the actresses or the character where I'm like, you're not strong. Don't even pretend you're strong.
Well, you know what? Maybe, you think about it though, like Kim and Shiv are kind of similar because they're both like professional women. Like, that's kind of their scene, right? Is it that kind of thing?
Same as Gowdy, Marvelous Mrs. Her. What's her name?
Midge.
What's her
Maisel.
first name? Yeah, Midge
Miriam.
is the same. Miriam is
I loved her acting, and the delivery is so funny. And it's just like that classic Jewish shtick of like the 30s and 40s, and she delivers everything really punchy. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think she does a really good job showing like a really funny person that's stuck as a housewife, like exploding onto the stage with, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is so well done. But if anything, I was watching it and I was like, am I the Joel? Like, I want to be a comic. Is she stealing my dream? And then I was like, because I was kind of joking with Chloe because she's doing her like masters or whatever in like what'll be like human computer interaction. I'm like, that's my dream. You're gonna steal my dream. But I thought she was really funny. Yeah, well, you know what? I get a new one every couple of years, so it's fine. I thought she was really funny. And I thought it was really interesting what you brought up about, in like, is it entrenched misogyny? And I don't think necessarily that's what's happening with you, but I have to moderate myself in that regard, more like, especially in like social, like there's this idea that like, there should be room for men to speak. And, I've been in a lot of business environments where, ladies will inherently be more passive. And I've been one of the people taking up all the oxygen and having to learn to be like, no, make room for other people and don't feel like, I should be the one speaking not because I'm the man, but because I'm me. But I think I'm me because I'm the man, if you know what I mean. The thing that I wanted to bring up, there's the YPJ, which is this feminist libertarian socialist militia in Syria. And basically there was this essentially terrorist who went to jail and was exiled. And then while he was studying, he basically broke down that at the heart of all like capitalism was, and all the woes of the world, imperialism, all came down to essentially like patriarchal oppression. And his writings and his letters form the basis of this fully feminist militia where they're like, we want a revolution, we want a socialist revolution, but it's basically, it's like, it's got to be it's got to smash the patriarchy. And it's like, there's this idea that it should be smashed.
How are they doing that?
So they are defending a slice of Syria, and they fought ISIS for the good guys, I guess, or whatever, the West. So they have a fully their whole state is run by a fully feminist first ideology, essentially, where every public office has to have a man and a woman, and like everyone basically has to like face those entrenched beliefs and things like that. and I think it's really interesting. Like the left, the progressive left, the Bolsheviks were some of the first people to campaign for suffrage, and you know, like feminism in the sense of not just like, oh, ladies get jobs as well, but like destroying.
Isn't
that
it like
inherent...
a thing with Islam? And I'm being naive here. No, I don't care. Isn't it a thing that if you get killed by a woman, it's bad?
Yeah, I think so. Let's Google it. I don't know. Islam. Oh, I don't know. Can I Google this? No.
Put your baby
oh,
in.
fuck it. All right.
For our regular
Islam
viewers, I'm so sorry that we've
killed
gone in
by
such a
a
deep hole to begin with. I
I
haven't
think,
even got
I
to
think
test
there are,
out
but
all my
it's,
quirky
I don't
sounds.
think I don't think it's about Islam necessarily. I think that all like entrenched hierarchical structures for the past 5,000 years have been anti-woman. It's been about oppressing the woman.
Yeah, you totally say that like being killed by a woman, like if I got killed by a woman, you know, like people be like, oh, James got killed by a woman. What a pussy.
No, but I think it's an afterlife thing. Like in a religion, there's like if you get killed by a woman,
it's codified into the religion.
Look,
yeah.
I will say all religious.
You don't get your 70 virgins.
They're all like a bit, you know, they've all had a bit of fun.
Cooked.
They all know what they're doing. That's better. Imagine having 70 virgins. That would be like you'd have to like have
so many emotions,
so much sex with them to even have them be good at sex.
Oh, what does that even come from?
You've just dismantled Islam now.
Oh, hang on. I don't want this to get like run as a video. The graveyard shift. I am anti all organized religion. No, actually, you know, I do think there's a place
why don't we
for organised
reset?
religion. Yeah, hang on. Wait. Okay, now we're going live.
Are we live?
I feel like we.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh yeah. Lucky no one watches. Hang on, let's check.
What are you putting on here?
Oh, Disco Elysium. All right, so we're up to our next segment, Disco Elysium. Now, Disco Elysium is a video game with good praxis. So what that means, it's rooted in the writings of Karl Marx, and like leftist organizing, essentially. So it was made by an outsider group, and this is something I really wanted to show James. James, you've heard a bit about this, right?
I've played it.
I was going to ask, have you played it?
I played it, yeah.
Because
you recommended it. I got pretty far. I didn't finish it. I got pretty far.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good. I got a bit lost in the world building stuff, and then I kind of like ran out of steam. But as it's more of a critique of games in general. It's me and games, but I thought it was awesome. I thought it was like
maybe for this you could be like just a troublemaker because you've kind of walked this walk before. Like, do we trust James or do we not trust James? Is he sabotage? It's like the mole. Sometimes you sabotage us, sometimes you don't, and we never know what to think with what your recommendations are.
I'll just keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
you know what? You may be. Where are you up to though, Sam?
I actually haven't played it in ages, so I don't remember. So first thing we've got to do, Lauren, I'll show you around. It's like an old school point and click game. Did you ever play games like this?
Yeah, I have. Trying to think of a game to give an as an example, but I don't know. What's a click game I've played, David? Click go to. Oh, it's your bloody digging game. Oh, I feel like this week there's a delay. It's more awkward to talk. Is anyone else feeling that?
What?
Like, I feel like there's a bit of a delay. Like, I feel like I keep interrupting people and then I keep getting interrupted. I feel like I've got a 5-second delay.
Oh, no.
No, 1 second.
seconds.
1 second.
Oh.
One.
Okay, ready? How do you do that? Clap your hands and then say when.
Clap.
Clap. Actually, you know what? You clap, you say it, and then I'll say it right after you. I'll clap after you.
Did you
that
just
was
clap
a pretty big delay.
Yeah.
Were you slow or we'll do it again? All right.
No, I'll do it quickly.
Hang on. Are you just not catching
On
up?
the count of 3, everybody clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
I think James is just slow, or is it?
It's you.
It's me.
I think it might be you.
I don't know,
let's do it again.
1.
Did that seem in time to you? This isn't good TV, guys. Let's just work around it.
Sorry. Just,
I
I'm going to say
disagree.
1, 2,
This is
3, clap.
great.
I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, clap.
All right.
One,
Is it clap,
two,
clap on clap?
Oh, no, claps on clap, not 3. I'm not going to say
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and then, okay, 1, 2, 3, clap. Ready? 1, 2, no. 1, 1, 2, 3, clap.
See, that sounded in sync with me and Lauren, but not with James.
See, that sounded in sync with me, but then,
Not with me. Fuck.
Something definitely happened. You know what? You know what it is? Is your... Because Lauren, you seem like in Zoom, like you are like, this is real time. But
Okay.
Sam, is your output through into Zoom from OBS?
Yes.
That would have a delay.
So, yeah. So just don't look at the you, Lauren. That's always going to have a delay.
No, I'm not. I promise I'm not. Okay, I'm so sorry, viewers. I'm not talking about a visual delay. I just apologize because I feel like I'm interrupting both of you constantly.
No, that's all right.
okay.
You're just
Just
nervous.
doing it.
You're just nervous. Hey guys, I'm going to get another frosty. We're just
I
not.
am so
we're just not.
confident.
Hey, I'm just going to get another frosty. James, are we going to bring in your video? Or are you
Maybe.
audio only today?
I can get in my video.
All right, cool. Give me. I'm gonna get a beer and then I'll. All right, guys. Hang on. I'll just go to my.
In the meantime, I have something to pass the time while you get a beer.
All right. Cool, guys. We'll be
I
back
wanna-
in the
I
meantime.
wanna-
Do you need visuals, Lauren, or just the audio?
Just the audio.
All right. Cool. All right. We'll be back. The graveyard
can
shift
you
up next with Disco Elysium.
Yo,
Yep, can I-
stop the game noise. Turn the game
Yeah,
noise off.
pause the game.
All right. So, everyone, as you know, we are Lauren, James, and Sam, the Bones crew. So, James, I've got you here, and I feel like Gowdy should be here too. But we need like a theme song, royalties pending.
You got an
What
idea?
song comes to mind for you, James, when I say Bones?
Oh, Tom Waits.
Oh, I haven't got that one. All right. Okay. Is that Tom Waits is the guy from Tom Waits is
David's a fan.
yeah, David. I don't know.
Where is he? We need him.
Davo. He's got his headphones in. David,
Ah.
what is Tom Waits in? What band is Tom Waits in? Oh, he's just Tom Waits.
That's good.
Why does he come to mind?
Because all of his music's all like everything like post 80s or 70s, everything sounds like Bones.
Oh, so you went more for a Bones vibe. See, I went
yeah.
more of a Bones
Lyrical vibe.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, I got a really cool soundboard. So I want to hear, how does this sound for you with my soundboards? Ready? Here we go.
Go.
I'm going to find a good one. It's called
Good
Dank
soundboard's going.
Soundboard.
Wow.
I'm here.
Shots fired.
That clear? Are you good? Here we go. Look at this. Ready? By
Yeah.
the way, let's do another shout out the fact that all of April was 420. Ready? It's like,
Smoke weed every day.
but it also breaks it down to be like,
Smoke weed
Weed.
every day.
so if someone's like, so if I'm like,
Smoke weed every day.
someone's like, weed's bad, and while they talk, I'll be like,
Smoke.
it's pretty fun. James,
Do you want to
what's-
do that?
what's
Like
this
we can do
noise
that as
from?
a setup.
Okay, ready? So
That's
now that you're back,
classic.
Sam, I'm gonna
Classic.
start
Back, baby.
sharing. We need
Play
to
that
think
again.
of. Wait,
Play
first,
that-
it's
play
coming a
that sweet
lot.
sound.
First of all, guys, I want to play a few suggestions for our theme song. Ready? This could be our first one, right? It's a classic. It talks about bones a lot. And I thought that if we say welcome to the what do we call it? The Bone Crew. Don't open this up. God damn it. Never mind.
Hey, can I just say that soundboard sounded sick?
Cool.
Wait, what's the deal with copyrighted music on these streams?
If there's fair use around. There's fair use around stuff if it's like not played directly, you can just like hear it. So if you're like listening to the radio, you can't get sued. But if you're like streaming the radio into a stream, and anything less than 7 seconds is also fair use as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and all of these are less than 7 seconds. So we've got Bad to the Bones, and we've got Dem Bones, Dem Bones, Dem. And then here's a modern classic, which everyone loves. Oh. Now, that's The Killers, and the film clip is very relevant, but that's pretty much the only mention of bones. The final one is a classic, and I did my research this week. There's actually a TikTok dance trend with this next song, but we could do the classic skeleton song. Like, wait, I'm gonna skip. Here we go. Here they come. And the song would start now. And then it goes into a bit of a... I'm doing a bit of research, so I want the Bone Crew's vibe on what's good.
Why don't we try an intro?
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Just pick one out and take it for a spin. What do you reckon, Sando?
Let's do it. I was just gonna say whatever we go for, I just want to hear some I want to hear those bone xylophone.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, okay. So we're in the break screen now. Why don't you? I'll do a really slow fade. Hang on. So I've faded to nothing. Oh shit! Hang on. No. Break view. Fuck. I don't want to go to Bozo view. All right.
Now that you're back, I'm getting a drink.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. When you're back, we'll do a big fade, and we'll do a sort of We'll all be. You know when they're. Time. So what we'll do is we'll do a slow fade where it'll fade in really slowly to the news desk, which is just us talking, if you know what I mean. And then. James, I feel like you need to mock up some layouts for me here because I'm fucking going pretty rogue with my spacing. But we'll all be talking muted. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be bones, the bones. So we'll all be pretend to be talking. You know, the news desk, how they're
yeah. They're
okay, so yeah, exactly. All right, cool. All right, cool. So can you give me I reckon that last one's a good tester. Okay. Tell me when we can start fading.
Hang on. Okay, I think it's going to be... I'm going to press the sound for 2 seconds and then start recording. All right?
Give me the
I just want to
wave
show
when want me to... No, trust your gut.
Do this. All right.
And then we'll just pretend to be on the news desk for 5 seconds.
Okay, ready? So I'll just talk like this, straight into the camera, like this.
The paper's up like that's a good one. I've got mine.
All right, cool. Okay, cool. Ready? Here we go.
Ready.
I'll point. I'll go like this when I want you to record. Okay, go. Not yet. I'm going to talk randomly, and then we're going to be like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about that. Whatever. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. All right. How's that?
All right. Sorry, where are we coming in? We're live. Hi guys, we're live with the Bone Crew on the graveyard shift. We've got Ozzo and Sando. Sound off, Ozzo.
What's up?
What's up?
Spooky skeletons.
Sando, how's your week been?
Pretty good, you know, just deep in the code, rolling by, ISO life.
Do
Deep
you
in the
reckon you'll be
code.
having 5 people over
Tonight. You guys.
anytime soon?
What a privilege. I'm so happy to be in both of your homes tonight.
I was saying, actually, Sando, we've been having serious conversations about who's in our bubble. And I think you and G, I think you can get in our bubble if you want. What do you reckon?
Oh,
little
that
ISO
is an
bubble.
exclusive bubble. The Sam Clo bubble does not accept anyone. You should take that with a badge of honor.
My bubble is like airtight as well, like not in terms of like letting people in, but for the virus. So if you let me into your bubble, you're getting a guarantee.
Yeah, well, I'm the same.
So,
mate.
wait.
You can stand by that. That's the Sam guarantee.
James, is Sam in your bubble? Without knowing he lets you in yours, would Sam be in your bubble?
I'd have to. What's your interaction with the outside world these days?
Let's just say that you're basically the only person that I've considered opening my bubble up to, and that's only because I know that you and G, G, Tom and Aaron don't even want to see their parents. So
Yeah, I feel like you guys have the same level of. And by the way, for our viewers, I am not uncool. I'm just not in the same city, or I would obviously be in both bubbles too.
well, what would your socialization be like, though? It's not that I don't
I
trust
work
you.
for myself from home. No one tells me
That's
what
true.
to do.
And it's not like Davo's like jumping at the bit to go out.
ISO life is David's dream life. I've never seen the guy so happy.
He's
so
thriving.
Yeah, me
happy.
too. No longer having to
But
like make
seriously.
excuses not to go out.
I would
Bad
be in your
word.
bubbles. Come on, guys.
The problem is that it's like it's if you go out anyway.
Yeah, well, that's I was sort of
maybe.
like, well, I think James and G. Look, we can talk about it off stream, but at some time in the coming weeks,
I'll give you
we
the
should do a
form that
little
you need
visit.
to fill out and the waiver that you need to sign to make sure that you do what we need you to do.
Okay, guys. So up next in
How are
the
you- how,
graveyard
like-
shift. Oh, sorry. Please continue. Am I lagging? One thing that
I
I've
was
so
gonna
I've
say-
listened to a bunch of podcasts. If you want to say something, barrel forward. If I'm talking, I'll stop because I'm only talking because I want to keep things going. I haven't got much to say. James,
Gotcha.
your question.
Yeah, you just got to push through. I was gonna say, how like locked down are you guys?
Well, I haven't
talking
seen
about?
anyone. I don't do anything.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
I'm pretty locked down. I walk to the beach and I go for a
Yeah.
big walk along the beach and I get my coffee each day. And that's annoying because people in Queensland love a chat. So someone's ordering their coffee and they finished ordering their coffee and they stay and they have a huge chat with the barista. And I will not go to the counter
Yeah.
until they're finished. So I just do my whole like tapping my foot, like waiting. So I'm very
I'm
locked
surprised the
down. But
infected
if
are
I
up
was in
there.
Melbourne, it's all
you guys
still
feel like
far apart. But everyone.
Do you guys feel like there's going to be like a it's almost like going to be this social divide of like the people who take it seriously and they're sort of like passive aggressively
Yes.
social distancing, and then the people that think it's a bit of a joke will passive aggressively like get in your space a bit. I was wondering if like old people will like start coughing on millennials to like troll them. Whenever I see an old
Toughen
person
up.
coughing,
No,
I'm like, are you
I
taking a piss?
definitely I get the glare from the old people if I don't walk further enough away from them.
Oh, you actually
Good.
get that glare.
I do
That's
the
good.
whole pace around. I go away from them. But I have to say, I don't know if this is a Queensland thing, but are you guys noticing a huge rise in conspiracy theories? Like,
Oh yeah, that's I'm not talking to anybody here anyway, really. You know, like in real life. But yeah, fuck, this is like ripe territory for conspiracy theories.
like on the Facebook community groups now, I reckon I would go as far as to say there are 10 times the anti-vax videos than there used to be. And it's just like
Yeah.
a comment war. Like it's getting insane.
Yeah, nah. Are you gonna show some anti-vax stuff?
Oh, I'm just bringing up some background.
Is
background
anyone
for the-
here at James, Sam? James and Sam, is anyone
course not.
anti-vax?
Look, I'm
No,
pro-vaccine
I'm not.
for
Sam,
everyone
Sam, you're
else.
very quiet.
I'm pro-vaccine for other people to maintain herd immunity, but I personally wouldn't get vaccinated because I don't need to because everyone else is vaccinated. I believe in vaccines. I just don't want. I'm just too cheap.
It's the
But
perfect.
that's a broken No, that's a broken ideology. It's like someone who's like, I am so left wing, and then they're like, oh, like I'm a socialist when it suits me. Like I don't want to get the
Yeah.
app.
That's me too.
Yeah, I wouldn't get the app, but that's for other reasons. But
No, I don't
Yeah.
get the app.
I would.
Bad
I'm
UX.
going to get the app when I go out more. Here's my thing. I wouldn't get MyGov because that's different. That's like showing my health. I don't care. The government knows where we're going anyway. Why not just put our data where it needs to be to help the fight of the infection? The app's not what it.
I'm just not gonna go outside.
Yeah, that's why I don't need
Yeah,
the
well
app. I'm
then
not
you
going
don't
anywhere.
need the app.
That's why
Here we
I'm not
go.
going there, basically.
So
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
I
gonna
haven't got
Lauren.
it yet because I'm not going outside a lot.
yeah.
Lauren, I'm gonna do
Watch this, I can't
a
see it.
conspiracy theory quiz. You can't see? Okay, hang on. Let me zoom in.
No,
I
I
can
can
it's
see,
real
but it's just
blurry.
like
Hang on. I'll rip the image. I'll rip the image and I'll enhance it.
Thumbnail quality.
you're getting a little. Oh, I can see your Is Sam
I still
frozen
can't
now?
see it.
Hang on.
I don't
Let
know,
me- let me-
but
Am I
also
freezing?
there
It
is
might
a
be me.
lag. I'm not crazy. I
Look,
feel
maybe
like
we're just
there's
getting
a
some
massive
of that
lag.
bad internet. Maybe we're just getting some of that bad internet. Hang on. Let me see what I can do.
Maybe. While we
All
work
right, guys.
it out,
I'm just.
let's
So, all right. Let's do a quick check. Am I coming
Alright, in the
through when I'm
meantime-
talking right now? How's this?
I'll amp everyone up for their yep.
How am I going? I'm lagging. And it wasn't happening last week.
It's not great, but it's there.
Okay, cool. Lauren, I want to do a pop quiz
Well-
for
Can't
you,
see
and I need
anything.
you to.
Just like
Can't see
I
anything?
feel like okay.
I'm blind. Can you
I
send me the
can,
link?
but it's blurry.
All right. Well, I'm using this as a reference anyway. Hang on, Sando. I'll send it to you. I'll put it
The
in the Facebook
graveyard
chat. So you
shift
can-
the link on the
is
chat.
blurry. Let's not.
The graveyard shift is blurry. Oh, hang on. I nearly
Yeah, do that.
tweeted it.
We can weather this.
All right,
Yeah, my
do-
internet
yeah.
is going slow. What the fuck? Get off the internet, everybody. Hang on. Maybe we're just having some of that broadband
The
problem I've been hearing
government's-
so much.
The government is starting. Okay, I'm ready.
government.
Send it to the Bone Crew.
It's literally not even letting me open a Facebook video.
Bloody
Hey, babe, are you
hell.
getting internet problems?
Speaking of which, I'm going to visit the cult tomorrow. Everyone.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Gonna go
give us
see
the
my
cult,
mum
Lauren.
and my
That's
Are
sister and
you-
my grandma and my auntie
Isn't that
all in the
against the-
cult, and
sorry?
they are crazy. Yeah.
Lauren, can you give us a bit of background
Ah.
on the cult, please?
I can't.
Are they
the
thriving
cult's
in this?
too,
Are they
too
like just
juicy for this
loving the
lag.
whole-
There is so much lag.
Yeah,
Now,
hold it.
guys, let's
Hold
just
it.
cut it loose and start again. This is just too laggy.
Hang on. Give me
I
2
reckon we
seconds. Because if we
start
cut it loose,
again. Vote.
it'll start another stream.
I
So
feel
let
like-
me...
Every time I talk, one of you are talking on top.
Sure. I'm getting good uploads. I'm getting good...
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to do a speed test. Maybe the broadband Australian network is failing or something. I'm getting 80 megabits a second, guys. You seeing this shit?
It's
All right.
fucking crumbling.
Look at me, 80 megabits. Look at this.
I'm getting 50.
David, can you
I
come
can't
and
see a
check the
thing.
internet? Is your
Man, I'm getting
your internet
good
alright on
speeds here too.
FIFA? Can you
I'm doing...
look at the speeds? Can you do it? Just talk to Sam and James and fix it, because it could be me, and I don't want to break the stream. Please,
No, if
one's
James is
watching.
getting it
Just
too.
let me say hi to the boys anyway. Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah, no one's watching.
Fix it.
David, get over here. get over here and talk to them and work out if I'm the problem. Quick,
I'm just doing speed test.
quick. You gotta sit
No,
down.
it's-
Here you go. Sit down. Here we go. Sit down. There we
Maybe it's Zoom.
There you go.
Could it be Zoom?
It could be Zoom. Zoom's
Because we're all
crumbling.
getting good speeds. But then my Facebook messages aren't
Yeah,
loading.
good speeds
But my
here.
speeds are good. I'm getting good speeds too, Davo. What's going on?
Are you feeling a lag? It's James and Sam. Just say hello.
I've said it. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Calm down.
All right, I'm sharing the tweet on the Bone Crew. Who knows? Maybe we just hit a rough patch.
Yeah.
Why? What's the
We're getting on
problem?
the beyond.
Just that we're getting like weird lag. To be honest, it's kind of fine for me. Like everyone's coming through okay, but they said my screen's crunchy. Can you see my? Hang on. Can you read what's on this picture?
An example of a sign. Sheep will know more. Educate yourself. Research.
Okay, cool.
QAnon.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
oh.
And
All right.
the
All right, Lauren. I've got a pop quiz for you.
adrenochrome. Lauren, pop quiz for you.
Yeah. All right.
I'll wait till
alright,
James
Steve's
is back.
okay.
We'll do it for the. No, it's all right.
Oh,
We'll
man,
do.
I just get David on and you're kicking him off straight away. He's never
Okay.
gonna
Oh
come
yeah.
back.
Wait. No. Stay on, David. Actually. Oh wait. Ah. Fuck.
Nah,
I
I'll
thought
get him
David would
back.
want to get
I'll
out
get
of
him
there.
back. Oi,
All right.
QAnon. I have so much to talk about.
Wait.
QAnon. Go.
Yeah. Let's. No. We'll wait till James is back. Play us in. We'll do an
Alright.
intro. Okay.
I'm
Cool.
back.
All right, Loz.
Okay,
hit the music.
Yep. Wait, are we doing a fresh Bones Crew or a fresh segment?
Fresh segment. So we're
Okay,
coming back from an
We
ad
have
break.
a fresh segment. It's called Conspiracy Quiz. Okay.
All right. Hang on. I did that fade
Nailing
too
these
slow.
sound
Sorry.
effects.
Yeah, killing it. Hang on. Okay, so what we have, it's the conspiracy theory pop quiz. We're gonna rattle through them. Lauren, you get 10 seconds per answer. If you do not get the point, James can back it up. First off, QAnon. What is QAnon?
QAnon is a conspiracy theory in America where they believe Trump is saving the world because a group of satanic pedophiles have been running it for centuries.
The irony is that the modern Western imperialist structures are riddled with pedophiles, but they are not lizards. People can just be bad. Plandemic. I actually don't know what the plandemic is. What's the plandemic? I can guess. Plandemic. Any takers?
What does pandemic mean?
I don't know.
What does
It's a-
pandemic mean? Oh, QAnon.
It's a fake word.
Okay, so
It's a,
can I do a quick story share?
should-
This week, a colleague of mine, I was on Facebook and I went to her profile and it was like the hashtag for QAnon. I didn't know what QAnon was until this week because one of my friends is deep in the hole. And even Wikipedia would make those
Australian.
conspiracies go rampant because
We got the lag
I don't
again.
know. I don't know where
It's
I'm
my-
at.
No, you.
Fairtape's
I'm feeling that.
network bandwidth is low.
Yeah, shit.
Oh, all right. That's me. It's me. What's going on then? Why is it me?
So she's Australian.
Yeah, this is from Australia.
Yeah, something's up. I feel like it's real awkward.
Yep. Okay. I reckon you're right. I don't think there's much we can do.
Okay.
Why do I hear the sound effects so clearly yet everything else is like laggy as shit?
Hang on. Let me. Am I still sharing? Okay. Let me try one other thing that might help.
Okay.
Oh,
Ask me questions that are yes, and I'll hit the sound bite as soon as it's go. I'll tell you how
Is that
long
any
it is.
better?
Ask a question,
Yes.
but it's not.
Look, guys, you win some, you lose some. If I learn anything from Mrs. Maisel, it's that if you want to work up an act, you got to bomb.
Yeah.
We're bombing. MK Ultra. James, what's that?
That is it was like a CIA operation to coerce people into like, it was just like basically testing to like see if they could like basically do mind control through psychoactive drugs, LSD, through basically to extract information through interrogation, or like just like general mind control experimentation by the government. Some famous people are Ken Keasley, the guy who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was part of the MK Ultra program.
Huh.
I think it's someone inspired
Really?
that book and then the movie. It's quite a few people that were like part of it basically. Because I think I can't remember exactly, but they're doing it. It was basically like I guess I'm totally just guessing here from memory, but I'm pretty sure it was like an open trial situation. So a bunch of people from like a bunch of hippies, I guess, joined up and got involved in this shit, and it was fucked. And I don't know much more than that, but it's pretty fucked basically. Should pull it up.
So there's actually some pretty hardcore stuff with
hectic.
the CIA, like experimenting with like psychic astral projection and mind control. Like, I guess just in the Cold War,
Yeah.
like they were like, well, if the Russians get it, we're fucked, so we got to get it.
What did they have that remote? They were doing remote, basically
Gateway?
like telepathy.
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can find it. They just released these papers that were like full investigations.
Stupid film. Yeah, there's that stupid film, The Men Who Like Stare at Parrots or something. Not Tom Cruise, with Brad Pitt. The Men Who Stare. It's a book basically about the U.S. Army's exploration of New Age concepts and potential military applications of the paranormal. Doing like there's some they're doing some crazy shit basically, but pretty fucked up.
Interesting. I'm reading Childhood's End at the moment. If you've read it, please don't ruin it for me.
What's going on? What is it? Fill me in, guys. I don't know the book. I don't know the
Ooh.
movie.
I'm not.
Childhood's End is a 200-page book, and it's very alien-y. I'm 100 in. I got to 100 in 2 days. Why don't we all read it and talk about it next week? It's really cool.
All right.
Childhood's End.
Childhood's End. Childhood's End.
Sounds fucking sad.
I don't want to say much because it's really unfolding beautifully.
What happened? What ends the childhood?
No, I
bullet.
don't think it's about that. It's a sci-fi novel.
The kid gets a job at the end of the book.
Gets puberty. The kid gets puberty. No, ignore the title. It's an alien like dystopia kind of sci-fi film, and it touches on humanity and how humanity would react. But I'm halfway through, and I feel like it's just gonna bombshell me.
Arthur C. Clarke. He's great.
Very cool.
So I'm looking here. There's this whole thing with the CIA about like astral projection where they basically said they did it. It's crazy. I'm trying to find it. I should have downloaded it. It was like
Are we all going to dive into a conspiracy here? Is this us about to become the posters?
It's just like recorded fact. That's the thing, is all these conspiracies are like wrong and crazy. Like 5G,
totally. Yeah, but there's like it's like a
cellular.
sliver of truth into them, right? Then that's the tempting part, and it's like, because my dad's a huge conspiracy theorist, right? Also a really smart guy, and I can never understand. Same, yeah. I can never like understand why like he loves it so much. I have like kind of figured it out, and it's basically like there is a sliver of truth in it, right? Like everything, like Epstein, for instance, totally, it's a true conspiracy, you know? Like to what extent you take it to, but like it's pretty true, like 99% of the time, right?
Like,
And the fact that
even
that
the boring
exists
version.
is like, even the boring version is fucking insane, right?
Yep.
And I believe that, you know, like I actually, that's a conspiracy theory that I believe, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh man, it's not a conspiracy anymore. It's
it's
real.
not really, you know. And the thing
Yeah.
is there that but once you're in that territory, right? If you don't have like proper critical analysis, especially if you're older, and like I think there is a thing, there is, me and Sam have talked about before as well, but and this is, I think this is really we struck well with this. I think it's like you said it actually. It was that older people like have trouble basically disseminating information off the internet. My dad does it with like, he'll go onto a site that looks like it's like a WordPress theme. It's like the default WordPress theme, you know. And someone's been inside in 5 minutes, and then he's reading it as if it's like some sort of credible journalist, you know. And I'm like,
Here's a question though, James. Really quickly, what would
Yeah.
your dad do if he got a really obvious scam call that Telstra wants a bill payment, like a phone? Like, is he?
No, he's not that. That wouldn't get him. No way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like with him, it's like almost there is an element of like he will be reading somebody credible, and then he'll get to some fringe stuff, and then he won't be able to tell the difference between the two, you know. Like I can, if like I see this, like the website that he's looking at, I look at it for like, I don't have to look at it, you know, it's in my periphery, and I'm like, that's like a fake website, you know. And it's that kind of thing. There is this sort of like lack of ability to deconstruct and like take in digital information in a way that allows them to retain their like critical analysis. I think it must be like a thing of like almost as if like, I think my dad or like this sort of older generation might like.
Mate, yeah, my mum's different. Instead of doing research online, she's told by the cult leader, and my mum and my sister were sending me these YouTube videos of the 5G theory. And the YouTube videos alone are just like, I worked for Vodafone Global for 6 years. And it's just like, I'm not giving my name or any website links. And I go head to head with them, not in a bad way, but like with my mum and my sister in the cult, like there's no talking to them because unlike your dad, there is literally no analysis. It's just what they're told, and they won't look outside of that. It's like, the worst.
Well, that's like harder, but it's honestly still like my dad is super smart, and I find it really hard to. It's just to me, it's maybe similar in the way, or they are similar in the way in which I feel like when I'm arguing with him, which I try not to do because it's useless. I feel like it's telling somebody that like believes in God that God isn't real, you know, and they're just like, nope. They're like, yeah, okay, I can hear your point out, but I still believe in it, and that's the underlying like vibe that I get even with my dad, who is like super progressive, like maybe not a socialist, but like, you know, he will be.
But
like,
he sounds reasonable. It sounds like you could talk to him.
I can't for years and years and years have tried to and cannot get through to him on it like this, but like he's getting the shit like he'll be. There's not. He's not.
Up
Sorry,
till now,
Sam,
it's like, what's the point?
What's that?
What's the point to like? Up until now, it's been like, oh, I'll just let them have their fun, and now you're like, oh wait, are you guys gonna ruin the planet?
Totally. Well, I'm like my dad's been getting intense on it, and I'm like, fuck, I think you might have like full brainworms, basically. Like, I think you go too far down the hole as well, and like you end up in this web of conspiracy theories where like you live in sort of like an alternate reality of like the way things really are as well. And just to clarify as well,
so much psychology behind how people follow conspiracies purely, and they feel alienated, but they are striving towards that moment where they're the ones that were right, and people return to them.
Totally. That's got to be an aspect of it too. But I want to say something before you guys cut in. My dad will like watch shit like Building 7 in 9/11 was taken down by like a nuclear bomb. Stuff like that.
Which building?
Building 7. I'm not going to go into it, but like he like literally would believe that a nuclear bomb was used in like.
Do you
9/11.
guys think America did 9/11?
Okay, can I? Okay, please,
Don't ask
please,
that
can I
question.
have this? Because I didn't think. Okay, David's gonna look at me and just be like, "Shut up, Lauren." So it makes total sense that America did it because what we witnessed is for the
Can we get
from
Dave's,
the
can we get
dawn
Dave's
of
face in the
time.
background?
Where is he? He can't hear me. He's got his headphones in.
Uh,
But what we have is America from the beginning of the Independence War have been able to kind of be like, well, of course we're going into the Middle East because of this is what they're doing. And suddenly we're in a modern era. When I finished Silk Roads and I read what America did to get into Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan, when 9/11 was kind of unfolding, they had no other reason other than we want their oil to go in. Now, if I have to draw a line in the sand, America didn't commit 9/11. They didn't plan it, orchestrate it, or make it happen.
but they wanted
But
to
I
happen.
do believe they knew it was happening and they let it happen.
That's that's exactly my point of view as well. Like that is like like if you want to dial it down and like go, okay, realistically what might have happened, that's what I say as well. They knew it was going to happen and they let it happen. But there's also like there are countless examples of like America and the CIA training people like around the world basically to like for coups, for any sort of thing they're going to do. And it makes sense that, and there's a guy that my dad actually loves, he's a good guy, I can't remember his name, but he has a saying that like basically an empire or the empire will always come home in a way. So like for so long, America was training up these paramilitary forces overseas to like do these CIA-backed coups, right? And it hits a point where all that shit actually they go, you know what, we can actually use that domestically. And we can use that to inform people and to like get our policy through. And like from that point of view, like I could even entertain the idea that like they've trained them, you know?
Yeah,
and that
you cannot tell me.
Well, they did train them. Like
it's foreign policy
they
hasn't evolved.
They did train them as well.
It's a matter of record. Like the relationship between essentially the Taliban, the Osama bin Laden, and the Bushes, like the training for insurgency, counterinsurgency, all that kind of stuff came from America. It came from the CIA. Like it's not. That's the thing is like the CIA have unsettled every anything that was a threat to oil or capitalism for the past 50 years, and it's just a matter of resource. Like they just tried to do a coup. They paid some drongo. And they tried to cover it up to take over. Like what happened? Like they did like a boat raid on Venezuela.
That's right. Also, it's so funny because no, you go, James.
I was gonna say, and then they just it's like if you do that shit outside your borders, like why would you not expect them to like turn around at some point and go, hey, you know what, like we've got like extreme wealth inequality and like we're losing control to an extent. We can no longer sort of have this idea of like this like there's no incentive to be involved in the system anymore, really, because like this just why would we,
I mean, like they always wanted Iran back with Saddam Hussein, like being in Iran, like they used him as a pawn when they were cut off. America was just like, okay, fine. We're gonna give Saddam Hussein all this stuff because Iran, you're not even looking at us, so whatever. Anyway, they fund and funnel everything into Saddam Hussein. Suddenly, the real prom date comes back, and they're just like, "Oh, you guys are keen again? Okay, awesome. Okay,
we'll go back into it.
We're funding both sides here. We're putting weapons on both sides, but no one will know. But everyone did know. Everyone found out, and then it was just like." It's cool. It's cool. Like I don't blame the Middle East for how angry they get. Like it's fucked.
Yeah, totally.
They were putting weapons on both sides.
Yeah, no, and it's like one of the funniest examples of that is Gaddafi. Like his whole story is just hilarious. You should. It's in that movie. What is it? Hypernormalization. It's so good. They outline the whole thing, but like
What's
just
the
like
movie called?
hypernormalization.
Hypernormalization?
You're gonna watch that. Get ready for that. But
Yeah.
it outlines like
Or
it's
2
a classic
hours
example of that.
45.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little very like kind of aligned with that whole idea of it's basically a history of the Middle East and America's foreign policy in the Middle East and the Middle East in general. But Gaddafi, right? You remember him, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so like he's pretty insane. He's like a hilarious character basically. His fashion's pretty awesome.
Oh my
Sam,
god, I totally forgot about him until this moment.
Sam, can you get some photos
Some
of
Gaddafi?
Gaddafi's clothes up? Yeah, his
bringing him in.
fashion is insane.
Oh, and old school Gaddafi was a babe. So
Yeah, look,
attractive.
bring it up. Go to search Gaddafi fashion. Bring up some of this shit. It is type in.
Oh,
fashion.
look
He's
at
got
that!
some looks.
Look at the OG. Go to an old school photo. I think the top one is like grey and white. Look at what a babe he was.
Yeah,
Oh, what heart
Everyone was
melt.
hot in the past though.
you got to get fashion in there, Sam. You got to check out his dresses.
Yeah,
and-
get some gold. No, the gold stuff. Go to a gold thing. Look at
Oh
that.
yeah.
Chuck fashion in the search. It's like.
You know how it's like, this is the rhythm of the night. Oh yeah. You literally said, oh yeah, the same time the song did. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sammy boy, put.
And
the,
I think it's
fashion
like
in the
you
search.
okay, all
type
right.
fashion.
The way it's presented to us as the peons of the imperialist state is that there's these crazy,
Look at this.
these crazy foreign insurgent yada yada yada. But then you learn about it and you're like, wait a minute, these people were like manipulated and
taught a
exploited
certain
for centuries.
history.
Look at
We're
crazy.
made to
third row, bottom right.
third row, bottom right.
Oh yeah,
One below,
like you would
one
see
below.
that one below. You
Go to
One
the
below.
stick
Take a
holding
shot.
one.
Look
No,
what he's got on his top. It's like he's got some like it's like
Africa.
like street fashion basically. Yeah.
yeah, you would
He's
see that on like a runway. Look at that. That is fresh.
Yeah.
damn.
There is
Amazing.
He's fucking insane. But like anyway, the story is right with him is that he is insane, right? And he had this whole like kind of like he had this whole the basis of his whole like reign or his regime was he had this kind of like new political theory about how to like run a country. And he had written all this, he had all this literature written about it and everything. And then obviously he became an enemy of the West. And then they basically tried to
Look at him.
Like, he was an enemy. They made he was an enemy for like decades, right? And then off and on, basically. And then, but he actually didn't really do anything. Essentially, he was kind of like a nobody. And then later on, basically, I can't remember what it was. It was early 2000s. It must have been around there. Well, they tried to reinvent him into being like a legit guy, and then they like totally it was full manufacturing of consent. They got.
I was gonna say, like, is he a pawn in what they wanted?
Oh,
Like, were they just like auditioning?
totally.
It could have been
He
anyone.
It could have been.
He sort of
totally.
played the role of the villain for the US for a long time, like almost like complicit in it. Like there was this sort of
Yeah, he was loving.
Are
it.
you
Like,
saying
it was
the US
insane.
planted him?
not planted,
No,
but like
I think
nurtured
he's legit.
someone
He's a
that
real
wasn't
guy. They just-
dangerous. Well, he was dangerous, but they used him as a villain, like an almost caricature way, and he was very much what's the word like complicit in like knowing that he wasn't going to attack America anytime soon, but like
Yeah.
dressing like a fucking supervillain. And
Totally.
like, you know,
And he-
just
and
like
he-
presenting
and he
like a
loved it as well.
hyper-militarized state.
Yeah, and he was
He
loving it. too.
definitely had some work done. Like, it's very clear in his later years. He went to the doctor. He got a little nip tuck.
Definitely.
Okay,
Is
this
here's the
him?
thing though. Like with
Is this
him and no, I don't think that's him.
But in the end, though, Lauren, they tried to reinvent him basically in the 2000s to be like not a villain and be like this like kind of political genius that had written a new theory about how to.
Who
like,
did? Who wanted to rewrite it?
the US and the UK as well. So they brought him over to the UK, I'm pretty sure, and they got David Frost from the Frost, the, like, classic interviewer from Frost Nixon, and they got him to interview him, like giving credence to like everything he'd been writing about for the last 30, 40 years. And then 10 years later, they're invading Libya and they assassinate him. So it's just,
and
it's a
it's
classic
just
example of that.
it's the art of creating the narrative for where they want everything to be. And I want to come back to what we all spoke about last week, which is right now, the centuries of narrative that have been implanted, whether it be through Hollywood or historians, like curriculum in schools, all of that has now reached a point where it is no longer valid. If it's resources they want, they have planted seeds and roots are growing in some of the most infertile areas of the world. Like, the resource capitals are changing, and America did sink their teeth into a very viable source for a long time, but resources run out. And so I'm really curious because there's a new game happening right now to mold the narrative. And it's like, let's witness what that's going to be.
And I think that's why there's such an imperialist pushback against renewables, is it's not just about entrenched fossil fuel interests saying, oh, we want to make money. It's about the entrenched power structures saying, wait, our control is over the oil pipelines. It's not over the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
it's
Hey guys,
like,
I
just a
reckon
total breakdown.
I reckon we might have hit a good stride on that last segment. So I think we should look. We hit a rocky patch or two, and that's fine. This is our second episode, everybody. Third episode of the Graveyard Shift. If you watch the pilot, just want to say thanks everyone for tuning in. That's our hour and a half. You've been part of the Bone Crew. We couldn't do it without all of you. Lauren, can you play us out? Have you guys got anything to plug?
No, but I just want to highlight, like there were technical issues this time. I'm sorry, but like, we're going to work it out because I really did feel like I was interrupting everyone all the time.
Smoke weed
you're
every
great.
day.
Oh, and you know what? You know what makes a champion? Not about everything going well.
What?
A champion keeps going. Hey, Lauren, you just fucked my video feeds. What'd you do?
I didn't.
All right.
Wait, guys.
It's too late. The damage is done.
I did the best soundbite ever. I hung up on my dad. No, it's not.
All right, guys. Guys, we've been the Bone Crew. This has been the Graveyard Shift, and you have learned a little bit about imperialism and